Oh yeah, we finna go ahead and we finna get to it right now too. We ain't even gonna hold up. We got our people coming up in here. So like I said, everybody go ahead and tweet the space out. We're gonna be discussing both of these topics tonight. We're gonna be talking about the mother and son that was charged and should have never been charged from the beginning. Anyways, they should never charge either one of them. They defended themselves. So unfortunately, this brother lost his life. But hey, you can't sit up here and just start banging on. He was hitting the mother, hit the kid, and whatnot in the face. So it's unfortunate that that happened, but people do have a right to protect themselves. So unfortunately, he's gone. But I'm glad that their lives aren't ruined by. They already had like a $3 million bond or something too, so which was just complete ridiculous. But I thought I'm gonna go ahead and get to you. Let me touch up on this real quick. See, we got some hands coming up. So yeah, guys, we're gonna touch up on this real quick. Let me go ahead and get it started, and then I'll go ahead and I'll get to the hands. So you go ahead and put your hands up. I got Thought. I got A Boogie. What's up with you, A Boogie? You guys want to speak? Just put your hands up. Zev, what's up? Long time no see. And we'll go ahead and we'll get to y'all. Up in the jumbotron. This is from News One, curated by Newstoter.com. It's up in the actual jumbotron as well too. And Professor, when you see people raising their hands, you can go ahead and request them to come up here while I actually touch up on this story real quick. Charges dropped against Chicago mother, 14-year-old son in fast food shooting caught on video. Once again, like I said, this is from News One. So, Professor, like I said, I see Brother Moku trying to come up. So go ahead and let him come on up here. And let me go ahead and get started. Murder charges have been dropped against a mother and her young teenage son after a fight in Chicago fast food restaurant was caught on a video and a viral footage. Carlisha Hood, 35, and her son had been charged with first-degree murder and the slaying of 32-year-old Jeremy Brown on June 18th at the Maxwell Street Express located in the 11600 block of South Hollister Street. Hood, who has a valid FOID card and concealed license holder at the time of the incident, was also charged with contributing to delinquency of a minor. The charges were dropped in part because of the video footage showed that Brown punching Hood's 14-year-old son in the face multiple times, according to CBS News, that led Hood's son to shoot Brown in apparent self-defense. As a result, Cook County prosecutors dropped the murder charges stemming from the incident on the night of June 18th. Prosecutors did not immediately make a statement to offer further explanation for why the charges were dropped abruptly. Hood was being held on a $3 million bond. Hood was previously accused of directing her son to shoot Brown, according to court documents. Hood allegedly texted her son. Court documents claim that Hood's son shot at Brown multiple times, promoting Brown to flee the restaurant. Hood's son then chased after Brown in the street and shot him twice in the back. Court documents said Brown was pronounced dead shortly after the shooting. At least one online fundraiser has been set up to help Hood's family. Professor, yeah, like I said, go ahead and let Brother Moku and them up here. And here's what the fundraiser said. Okay, this is back on June 18th. It says, we request your aid in reuniting our family on June 18th, 2023. Carlisha Hood, a 35-year-old woman, was in line at the Maxwell Street Express in Chicago. Regrettably, she left her 14-year-old son in the car while placing an order. An altercation with a stranger named Jeremy occurred, which led to a physical altercation. This resulted in Carlisha Hood getting hit multiple times in the head by Jeremy. We are committed to uncovering the truth to ensure justice is served for our family. Any contribution, no matter how small or big, will be greatly appreciated as we work towards reuniting our family as soon as possible. We appreciate you reading this, and your support means the world to us. We thank you in advance for any support you're able to provide. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or comments you may have. Your help will help us get one step closer to justice we deserve. We just want them home and safe. Please help us reunite our family and keep us in your prayers. All righty, so that was from the family about the fundraiser that they had going on as well too. Like I say, for those that don't know, and I'm sure most of you do know, the charges were dropped against the mother and son. The charges were dropped against the mother and son. I said we got some hands up, y'all. Keep your hands up there for 1 second. I just want to touch up on this other article real quick, get that out, and then we'll go ahead and get to the hands. Also from News One, also curated on the Newstoter.com platform, also up in the Jumbotron. For the Black Ancestor, video shows Black American women twerking at Ghana's historic slave trading posts. This was published by News One, like I say, once again, on the actual Newstoter.com platform. Video showing several women happily twerking at a location in Africa where slaves were once held in dungeons before being shipped off into slavery in the U.S. and elsewhere is getting some negative attention on social media. The footage from Cape Coast Castle in Ghana, apparently recorded on Juneteenth, was reposted elsewhere on social media with a disproportionate number of responses claiming that twerking at such location is disrespectful. But the person whose social media account first posted the footage is pushing back on that notion. The Instagram account for, and I don't know what this name is, KHAPARISDIORRR, which touts Memphis and Atlanta in its bio, and identifies in part of being operated by a CEO of a website that sells lingerie, has multiple posts documenting recent possible ongoing trip to Africa apparently as part of a birthday celebration for a Black American woman. Most of the posts from the trip show the account, along with her apparent friends and family, enjoying themselves during festivities in the Western African country. One post in particular was filmed at the Cape Coast Castle and showed multiple photos and videos of the historical location. The post stands in stark contrast to the other celebratory posts from the trip, with multiple slides showing a woman looking somber, as well as a video footage of one of the dungeons where the slaves were kept. The sixth slide, however, takes a quite the turn, with four women bending over to do the provocative twerk dance that has been embraced by younger generations. So today I got to experience the slave castle and the Cape Coast. It is wild seeing how they did our ancestors, treated them worse than animal. The post caption is sad, but of course we had to twerk for the ancestors. Period. Happy Juneteenth for the motherland. I think everybody should go there at least once in a lifetime. Backlash on social media was swift with the influential Don Salman Twitter account tweeting in part that shaking your booty is disrespectful and Black American sisters is disrespectful to the millions of our ancestors who were shipped into slavery. The Instagram account obviously caught wind of the backlash and responded in its IG stories with a few choice messages for critics. How many 27-year-olds you know traveling 17 plus hours to a third world country and experiencing their culture, giving away money to kids and people in villages with no electricity and running water? One of the IG story installments said, "We gave away more money than we spent, gave away clothes overly tipped, but wanted to take a 7-second clip and make a huge deal out of it. Talk about the bigger picture." Apparently, still on the defense of the IG stories, continue by asking if the women should have done a different dance instead. If we was doing them African dances, what would that make y'all feel better? If we was doing the chicken head or the heel toe, would that make y'all feel better? A quick post search found other videos from years past claiming twerking began in Ghana. While those claims are unfounded, the origin of twerking certainly has its roots in Africa, scholarly research shows. According to the Western perspective, twerking is a highly sexualized and provocative gyration of the hips and buttocks. It has even been added to the Webster's Online Dictionary, which defines as sexually suggestive dancing characteristic by rapid repeating hip thrusts and shaking of the buttocks, especially while squatting. According to a blog post on Penn State University's website, but twerking isn't new. In many Western African cultures, it was an expression of joy and celebration performed at family gatherings and weddings. Vice President Kamala Harris visited Cape Coast Castle nearly 3 months ago. Perhaps her words from that fateful location might add some missing context of the fledgling social media controversy. "There are dungeons here where human beings were kept, men, women, and children," Harris said during a trip in March. "They were kidnapped from their homes. They were transported hundreds of miles from their homes, not really sure where they were headed. And they came to this place of horror, some to die, many to starve, many to be tortured, women to be raped before they were then forcibly taken on a journey thousands of miles from their home to be sold by so-called merchants, taken to the Americas, to the Caribbean, to be enslaved people." All right, y'all. So we got some hands up, so I'm not gonna hold up. Let's go ahead and get to it. I know we had Thought, and then we got a Boogie, we got you Zeb, we got you Brother Moku as well too. So like I say, shout out to everybody coming up in the space as well. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and tweet the space out as well. Also, Thought, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, News, for the background, the articles mentioned. That was very thorough, and honestly, I just want to touch on the first article, but the charge dropped against the mother and the son. That's amazing news. Honestly, I've been following this very closely in Boston, and I was kind of worried because Chicago, Illinois has very strict gun laws, right? So I was kind of worried where that was going to end up. So I'm very glad that they got the charges dropped because, as you know, usually that's not the case. Like this gets forgotten, or, things like this just drags on, etc. So I'm very very glad that this was dropped. It's just another reminder for people that we need to wear body cams at all times. I think honestly, we can't rely on people videotaping. You gotta wear body cams at all times, and just make sure you, you, you have videotape running at 24/7, because like this saved them, right? This video saved them, and I'm glad. It's a beautiful thing, beautiful story, and yeah, self defense is used for the Caucasians use it all the time for self defense. But when it comes to us as people of color, that it's rare. So this is a great moment, and we should celebrate this. And kind of use as an example to always videotape if any altercations or anything happens. Always videotape, even though you're not involved. Just videotape, because you might be helping someone, right?
Okay. And then on video cam stuff.
Hey Zeb, real quick, sweetie, don't come off your mic. You kind of knocking off the floor of the room, so go ahead and keep your hands up. We're gonna get to you, but nobody, all the speakers, stay on your mic until the person's actually done speaking. Go ahead, thought.
Thank you so much. But yeah, just want to add to that. Like, yeah, keep videotaping when you're in an altercation. If you're not involved, if you're just in an area, and if someone of our people is involved, just always videotape. Because you might save their life. Using that videotape as evidence. This is a friendly reminder. Just always videotape. This is very important, because you can be changing people's lives. Because this is a prime example, like the self-defense. To save their lives, right? 2 lives, 14-year-old and a mother with maybe other children, right? So, like, this is amazing. So that's just a friend whom I always videotape. And on the other news, on the Africa twerking, honestly, I see that as I've been to Gambia. I'll be honest, I've been to Gambia 2019, and they twerk a lot too. They twerk, they dance, they have a lot of festivals. And, it's part of the culture. There's a lot of twerking going on. So for them to twerk at this historic site, it is disrespectful. But I don't think they should blow it in proportion where they're trying to make them feel bad about visiting the motherland. I don't think they should do that. Kind of just educate them a little bit and say, hey, that's not the place to do that. There's thousands and millions of people left this port and became, there's a history behind this, right? So I feel like it's an opportunity for education, not to kind of backlash. Because sometimes we kind of stomp on people and say, don't do this and that. And the person kind of, they outlash a little bit. You know what I mean? If you kind of give them wrong information, they outlash. So it's a learning opportunity. And it's good that they're visiting, giving money to the people, what they said. It's amazing what they're doing, honestly. They're helping out families, right? That commerce they're bringing to that country, and it's a good thing. And honestly, it's honest. Listen, it's part of our culture in America, right? Twerking happens all the time, and I don't think we should kind of make it a big deal out of that. And as people, we shouldn't flame the fire. Just kind of educate them a little bit. Say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, but not attack each other for something like that. I think it's very small, very very simplistic. I think, honestly, we got strip clubs. You know what I mean? Strip clubs and women just dance everywhere. As if, like, come on, she's twerking, and yeah, just tell her, listen, you don't do that here, and just move on. That I don't think it should be a big news media or social media thing, because we're in a cancel culture right now. It's very dangerous cancel culture, where people are just trying to be canceled 24/7 on TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram, Facebook, whatever. You do something, you get canceled right away, even though it's just going outside. So I think canceling people for something like that is very dangerous. And just educate the women. Don't twerk in a very historic place. You don't do that, but they shouldn't be canceled for that. So big ups to them for investing in the motherland, bringing economy to the country, and yeah, big ups to them. And the last story, I just want to reiterate that it's a great story. I'm so happy, man. It's made my week that the charges were dropped. So it's a great win for us, a great win for people, for freedom. and victory and just human rights. It's a big victory for this charges to be dropped. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. And thank you so much for having me for the Space News. I appreciate it, man. It's a very respectful room. And thanks, my brother. Take care.
All right. Thank you, Thought. Thank you. Thank you. Very interesting perspective. Let me go ahead and get to my man, A Boogie. A Boogie. Let me give a shout out to everybody over there on YouTube as well, too. I see Nat, as always, he's holding it down. He's one of the first ones I've seen. So shout out to the YouTube folks over there as well, and Nat and everybody else. A Boogie, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Oh man, I'm doing good, man. Shout out to you and the host, co-host, everybody in the room. Man, you made me think a little bit. Like I don't know if I'm with recording everything all the time, but I mean, like you said, this did save their life. Although, news, thank you for reading that story. I kind of missed out on that bit where guy was running away from the, you know what I'm saying? It kind of changes it for me, but at the same time, like it's Chicago. I know how it is, so you know what I'm saying. Like Shorty was really just protecting his mom, and that's just the times. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see that they did get off. I kind of seen it going that way because I kind of seen the video early, and I kind of read up on what actually happened. So like if you just read that, you know, this man assaulted a woman, you know what I'm saying, and it wasn't really no, you know what I'm saying, she wasn't aggressive, she didn't put her hands on him, and you know what I'm saying, like Shorty did what he had to do, he protected his mom. So you know what I'm saying, shout out to him. You know what I'm saying, that's traumatizing and all that, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying, then he had to go to jail too. So, and he only 14, you know what I'm saying. So you know what I'm saying, shout out to them, you know what I'm saying, for getting off. What I did hear about the guy though is he got like a history doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he put another woman in the hospital. So, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know what I'm saying, even though he was running, I feel some type of way about it. But it seemed like, you know what I'm saying, it was only a matter of time for him because, you know what I'm saying, he got a history of putting his hands on women, if that's true. You know what I'm saying? I heard that from a third party. But, you know what I'm saying, that's just is what's been said about the man that got killed. But and as far as the twerking on the castle thing, like Thought said, I think it's just a sign of the times. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people been twerking. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't really a big thing to me. But you know what I'm saying? Like he said, it is. You know what I'm saying? A time and a place for everything. And you know what I'm saying? People gonna do what they do. You know what I'm saying? This is just one of those times where you probably should have been recording. You know what I'm saying? So that's just why I'm gonna leave that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a time and place. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? It's just a reverse of the situation. But yeah, man, that's all I had on the topics for tonight. Shout out to you for the space.
All right. Appreciate that, A Boogie. Let me go ahead. Zeb, I know you had your hand up. Did you still want to speak, Zeb?
Yeah, because I was like so mad about everything that happened. It's like there's like several people in several different spaces that's like saying that, well, he shouldn't have been killed and this shouldn't happen to him just because they had verbal altercations. This should not happen. And I'm saying to them, this definitely should not have happened. But he was so very comfortable with punching her in her face with a closed fist, like she was a freaking dude. Like, please be quiet and please shut up, because if he did that in public, what is he doing in private? Her son saved somebody else from a horrible existence. That's how I look at it.
All right. Thank you, Zeb.
Am I wrong?
Oh, well, I mean,
He punched her like she
Well, no, like I said, I've heard from people, like I'm from Chicago, so you know it's close, you know, and people got they got gender wars going on other social media, so you know. But I was one of those people like, man, he didn't deserve to die, but at the same time, I knew what had happened, and I seen the video, so And then on top of the fact that I just, just heard from a roundabout way that, it's not his first time he didn't put women in the hospital. So at the same time, it's like, you put your hands on my OG, yeah, you going down too. At 14, yeah, I'm laying you down. So
well, not only that, but the footage,
times, and I was in Chicago in the '90s, and it was way worse. You know what I'm saying? It's the big choppers now, but at the same time, though, yeah, he got what he deserved.
But not only that, A Boogie, but the footage also shows that he was punching a 14-year-old boy in the face as well, too, multiple times. So, I mean, if you punching somebody mama in the face and then you start punching the son in the face, hey, people have a right to defend themselves. And let's be for real, most 14-year-old boys, if they see you up here hitting their mama, you're a complete stranger, and you up here hitting their mama and you constantly hitting their mama upside the head, then you start hitting on them. If they get a chance to get that thing, they're gonna put that thing out. So I mean, that just it's unfortunate. I hate to see that somebody lost their life behind this, but hey.
A lot of folks, you got to look at it in this perspective as well. A lot of kids in that position, they wouldn't know what to do. He just reacted. He counter-reacted. He did what he had to do in that moment. And
that's exactly what we're saying, though. Yeah, we agree with you. Like, and ain't nobody wishing death upon nobody, but at the same time, though, you know what I'm saying, you reap what you sow.
Yeah, and he was covering himself, and he was thinking about his mother. He was thinking about his mother, and that's what it is. So, all the folks that's on my social media and saying, well, this shouldn't have been done, and it could have been solved a little bit better. It could have been solved a little bit better if he would have walked his ass out of the goddamn store. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, why are you arguing with a random ass chick anyways?
Alrighty. Well, Zeb, let me go ahead, mute your mic, Zeb, and let me go ahead and get to a couple of the other speakers. Just go ahead and raise your hand back up if you want to speak. But let me go ahead and get to Brother Moku.
I'm muted, because I respect you. I'm unmuted.
Okay, appreciate that, sister. Brother Moku, go ahead and unmute your mic. What's going on? And let me also give a shout out to you for the cash app. I meant to say shout out to you earlier, but I think I was actually reading the actual articles. But shout out to you, brother.
Thanks, you still can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Few things. Mother and the son charged with driving. Some people would look at this like I just think this is tragic all around.
Hey, can you speak up a little bit louder, Brother Moku, if possible?
Sorry. I just look at this as tragic for the 14-year-old, as well as the mom, but more so the 14-year-old. He's a child, so he's going to be stuck with the mental anguish of murdering someone. It's real fucked up that he was put in a position as a child to have to protect his mom, and in some cases that's what we have to do as sons. When our dads aren't around. When I first caught wind of this, I thought he killed his dad, who was abusive. And I'm still not clear on the details of that. So I will add, it was his dad, and I want everybody to hear it.
No, it wasn't his dad though.
Okay. So it wasn't his dad, just a random person. I feel like he had to do what protect his mom. But again, I have to add that this is I hate to say this, but this is why. Well, I don't hate to say it, but it doesn't make me feel good to say this. But this is the reason why it is imperative that we upgrade our thought, our speech, and our actions. This was just tacky all the way around. I feel bad for the 14-year-old as well as the mom. But that 14-year-old is going to need a lot of counseling. He murdered a person, whether it was in self-defense or not. Everybody has to understand. Even if you're a licensed gun owner, If you murder someone in self-defense, you will definitely go to jail. Okay, even if
But
you're
he
in the
didn't
right.
murder him. He killed him. He didn't murder him.
Hold on, Zeb, 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 Zeb. Everybody, listen to what I'm saying. All of the speakers tonight. When somebody's talking, do not come off your microphone. Let that person speak, and then when they through speaking, then raise your hand, and we'll get to you. Go ahead, brother Moku.
Yeah, and I'll say again, I feel for this child because his hand was forced to murder someone, and he did it in self-defense. Okay, murder is murder. Whether you do it in self-defense or whether you do it, like serial killer style, it's still the action. It's still murder, and it's still going to be on this young man's spirit, on his bloodline. And even though it was in defense of his mother, um, I cannot forget the instigator in this. Who was this guy? And like Sister Zeb said, like if he was abusive like this in public to a stranger, how is he in private? Why wasn't this addressed before? I'm sure this guy did incidents before. You know what I'm saying? But just white supremacy did with Jeffrey Dahmer and many other murderers, white and black, um, white supremacist system allows them to slip through the cracks, so to speak. And I hate to use metaphors, but that's the way that the system is designed. Um, so I feel for those two individuals. I feel heavy for the teenager because he's put in a position, and now he has a lot of bloodline work that he possibly may or may not get done. Contrary to what anybody believes, we are all still learning, and when we learn better, we must do better. And unfortunately, in this case, this young man was put in a horrible position to have to defend his mom by taking someone's life, and that is just going to damage him in so many ways. Um, a person that witnessed a person's taking their own life, that is traumatizing. So for you to have to replay that in your mind, we don't know what's going to trigger him from now on. He's going to need counseling. I know that he's definitely going to suffer from PTSD and some other illnesses as well, because as Western medicine does, all they do is when we give our children to these psychiatrists, if we don't watch carefully, all they do is drug them up. So you do have post-acute uh, post-acute withdrawal syndrome from the drugs that they issue us. You know what I'm saying? This is another um, um, symptomatic thing that kind of bleeds in with PTSD. But if we don't know that, I hope this man just gets the counseling done. And to move on to the twerking on the slave pass, again, goes back to my first statement: upgrading our thought, our speech, and our action. Um, I understand that it may be some African cultures that twerk as celebratory or whatever it is, dance rituals or whatever. Um, but it doesn't make logical sense to me to dance on my where atrocity has been done to my ancestors. I don't think that someone has to explain that to me. Like I wouldn't go up on this task and whip my penis out and start pissing and say I'm a piss for the ancestors. Um, I think we as a collective need to stop giving certain things a pass. And when we upgrade our learning, or when we learn something that upgrades us, we need to start living in that upgrade. You know what I'm saying? And stop not upgrading our thought, speech, and action, and just continue with the degeneracy. Because when we continue with the degeneracy, our children are watching, and I cannot understand logically how anyone can think that um, uh, uh, the opposite of degeneracy comes from a person learning degeneracy from their youth. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get an opposite result as an adult if you're dealing in degeneracy as a child and your parent is showing you the same degeneracy. they're not upgrading their thought, speech, and action. So I feel for the young guy, but the women that's working on the stage, I don't really have any sympathy toward them. I feel like, these are grown women. They should know better, period. I don't care what culture they come from. They should know better and know that that's disrespect. I land there.
All right. Thank you, Brother Moku. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Grace. Grace, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey everybody. I only know about the highlights of the shooting case, and I'm glad that the guy got what he deserved. But I hope that the little boy doesn't have the type of mother or is surrounded by the type of female women who will instigate arguments and fights because they know they have somebody whose primitive instinct, their instinct for survival and protection, to manipulate that. That's the piece of it we don't know. And then also I'm just curious as to why she didn't have her own gun on her. Why was it someplace else outside of her possession? And then she could have blood on her hands because she is the mother and she is supposed to protect herself and children and her children. So there's that on that one. The twerking thing, I felt so extremely disrespected that I became somewhat physically sick. And I was kind of hoping for context that these people were not foundational Black American. And I was so saddened to hear that they actually were. We are not African, so I think it's weird that we keep trying to take African cultural practices and apply them to our culture. What I saw was a bunch of big booty women, shitting on our ancestors. And I don't care what area you're from, that's highly disrespectful. And it doesn't serve us just because they were over there and they sprinkled around a little bit of cash, but then turn around and then start taking a dump on our ancestors' gravesite and where they were transported from. That doesn't serve the greater good. And I think that the degenerate subculture within Black America, because this is not our culture, the degeneracy has become so impactful that I almost want to package all of them up and throw them over there on the LGBT side, and they may not be lesbian, bisexual, or gay, but it is most certainly queer behavior. So that's all I have to say about that one. They're queer, and they need to be on over there. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Grace. And let me just say this part right here. Could you imagine if you had a group of, if you had 5 Jewish women, 5 Jewish women going to a concentration camp over there in Germany, and they started doing provocative type dancing in the damn concentration camp, the kind of outrage you would have got? First off, that they themselves would have knew better to even do something like that. So that what Brother Moku and what Grace is saying is just a total lack of respect that a significant amount of Black people have in this country towards Black history. That I don't care if it, I don't. And Grace, I know what you said, that you were hurt to see that they were FBA. But my thing is this right here. We know that we have Black Americans, we have Caribbeans, we got people from South America. Any Black person that is a product of the Western of the transatlantic slave trade. I don't give a damn if you're in America, you're in Mexico, you're in the Caribbean, you're in South America. Any Black person in this world that saw that should have been offended. If you're a product of the transatlantic slave trade, I don't care if you're a Black American, I don't care if you're a Caribbean, I don't care if you're Jamaican, Haitian, I don't care if you're from Brazil or whatever, Cuba, I don't give a damn. Any Black person that saw that should have sat up here and been offended. And I know, and I respect thought, and I respect A Boogie for what they said, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. But like they said, if you want to twerk, if these girls want to twerk, these women want to twerk, you always got the club, you got your own, you go to a party, you can do this, you can do that. Nobody else nobody. I guarantee you that no other group in the world over there in Hiroshima, they wouldn't have went to the spot where they actually got hit with the damn atom bomb, and they wouldn't be up there doing all kind of provocative dances and stuff like that. You know why they wouldn't do it? Because their culture would put a foot up their ass, straight up. The Jewish community would go ahead and they would stop anything like that. You know, that kind of stuff that, you know, only in Black America. And then they firing back with insults and stuff like, well, if we had danced like this, would it have been better if we had done the chicken head? What in the world are you talking about? Listen, me, DJ Professor, Brother Mooka, we were all around with twerking. Let's stop acting like this twerking thing. Twerking started to come out in the late 90s, really, when it really started catching fire. Now I know they say you got it came from Louisiana and this and that. When I really started hearing about twerking, I started hearing about the Yin Yang twins in the late 90s, about whistle while you twerk. And let me tell you something. Every single place that you went to, Black women weren't twerking. Straight up. Every place you went to in public, Black women were not sitting up there twerking their ass up. This is a new phenomenon over the past 10, 15 years, that any place you got Black women, some Black women, they're not labeling all Black women, but you got some that want to go to restaurants and want to sit up here and twerk. And when somebody throw them out on their ass and they sitting up here making videos talking about how they being treated, how they being discriminated against, like any reason that, I mean, at one time, let's be honest, twerking, like I say, that was something that was booty shaking, and that was something that you did at a nightclub or a strip club, at a house party or something like that. That was something you did in a party type atmosphere. You just didn't twerk your ass all the damn time to be twerking. I'm from the state of booty shake. I'm from Florida, and they just didn't sit up here just twerking their ass left and right. So this whole thing, like I said, I don't give a damn who you are. If you're a product of the transatlantic slave trade, that was offensive. It's equally offensive, like you said, Grace, because they are Black Americans. But if you're somebody from the Caribbean or Brazil or whatever, and you're sitting up here on a place where people were tortured, everybody thinks that the people just died on the ship. No, some of these people had to travel hundreds of miles to get to these damn coasts, these areas over here where they was put in these dungeons. And a lot of them did not even make it there. And you sitting up here popping your ass dancing. You could just sit up there and respect history. The fact that you're on one of the most historic sites in the world, one of the biggest tragedies that ever taken place in humanity, and you're sitting up here and you popping your ass up here, and now you giving pushback, you doubling down, and you talking noise about basically talking about all you did and this and that. The first thing coming out your mouth, oh, I did this for the people over that. Nobody, you don't have to tell, and that's another thing. Stop telling everything that you do for somebody. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a damn. So what? You went over there and you gave money to some villages, to some people, that you gave them some clothes, you gave them some food, you gave them some money, you tip well or this and that or whatever. Oh, that's great. That's great that you did that. You still don't need to go over here and just shame everybody with this nonsense. There's no reason. I mean, good Lord. It's one thing if you were in a village and you were dancing with some of the actual people over there, and you was twerking and dancing or whatever, and y'all were all doing provocative dancing, nobody would have said anything about that. But the simple fact that, hey, you're on, this is really considered like hollow ground that you're on. And you're sitting up here and you just popping and you shaking it and this and that. And then you talk, this is for the ancestors. Let me tell you something. When them people had those mantles on their neck and they was chained up and they was thrown on those boats like sardines, the last damn thing in the world they thought about was popping it. Last thing they thought about was twerking their ass and shaking it. They were sitting up here trying to survive. Someone was trying to plot to get away. Someone was just too weak. You had women, you had men, you had children, you had some women that was probably even pregnant and everything else. The last thing in the world that they thought about before they were going to be taking 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 miles across the ocean to never see their family again, to be ripped away from their culture and any understanding of where they came from, future generations, totally ignorant to who they are. The last thing in the world they thought about was, hey, let me sit on up here and pop my ass and let me twerk because that's part of Black culture. And here's another thing too. I don't know anything about twerking. Anytime, to my knowledge, twerking came from the South. Now, if you want to sit here and say that if 400, 500, 600 years ago, it came from Africa, this and that, because pretty much everything, whether positive or even negative sometimes, that Black Americans do is always got to be, it's always got to go back to Africa. Twerking came right from these niggas right here in the South. That's where it came from. These niggas right here in Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, these areas, they call it twerking. They used to call it booty shaking here in Florida. So they just kept putting different names and different spins on it. So you went from booty shaking, because booty shaking or bass music that Luke and them used to do and stuff like that. You had it in Georgia. You had it all over the Deep South. So all that, it came from Africa and this and that or whatever. I don't know anything about that. I know that I've been seeing it since I was damn a young boy to a teenager to a grown man, when I used to hit the clubs up all the time and this and that or whatever. So all of that. And even if it did come there, I mean, even if it did come there, what the hell does that have to do with you sitting up here twerking on something on really on a ground that is really, like I say, a historic site right here? I don't even understand that concept. What the hell we talking about right here? You could have taken your ass, like I said, in one of those villages while they were doing their traditional dances. And yes, a lot of those African women, they dance provocative. You could have sat right up there and saw who could dance more provocative. You didn't have to do it at that site. You chose to do it at that site. For whatever reason, you were having a good time visualizing this and that or whatever, and all of a sudden you start twerking. So I don't even know what in the hell we talking about. Like, so I just the under this, sometimes some of the things we say doesn't even make any sense right here. Like, you could just set your ass, like I say, no other group would have done that. No other group would have set up at the place that was a horrific historical instance in their people's culture or history or whatever, would have sat up there and did the kind of stuff that these 4-5 women did up there. And now they pissed off because, hey, somebody called them on it. Like, oh, well, we can do what we want to. We grown women. Yeah, you fine. You're right. You can do what you want to, but you look like a bunch of dumbasses up there. You could, like I said, you could have done that in a village, the same villages that you went to. You could have sat up there and you could have shared your dancing with the actual people that was there. They could have shared their dancing with you, and y'all could exchange cultures that way. You didn't have to go ahead and go to the little shop of horrors is what this place really is. One of these damn dungeons. Professor and DJ, I know, y'all go ahead and get it in, and then we'll get to Brother McCoo and we'll get the thought as well too.
Yeah, very good topic, Newstoter. Very good topic. Good to see the family up in here. I agree with everyone that's been up here so far that I'm glad the charges were dropped against the mother and the son. The son protected his mom. I feel like at that age, I would have done the same thing for my mom. Because that's what a young man is supposed to do. You're supposed to protect that woman who birthed you into the world. You're supposed to protect her at all costs. And so that young man is a hero, and he saved his mom. So that's how I look at that. Do I hate that the brother is dead? Yes, I do hate it. I hate to see any brother killed out here. But sadly, as we know, as the world is not always black and white, there's going to be people that's going to be killed in our race and other races because they're evil. We just got evil people. And they come in all shades and colors and, nationalities, ethnicities. It's just all kinds of evil people out here. And so, unfortunately, some of those are mixed in with our people, And so that's what we have to understand about the world, y'all. We got good and evil people. But let me also say, in reference to the twerking, I ain't gonna lie now, I love to see big booties twerking now. That's one thing I can tell y'all. But I remember back when this thing first came out, the Yin Yang Twin. I think that song was called Working While You Twerk.
Whistle While You Twerk.
Oh, my bad, whistle while you twerk. Damn. See, I'll tell you how long ago that was, y'all. It was back sometime in the early 2000s, whistle while you twerk. And you see these big booty women, but you have to put this in perspective. You see all this twerking and big booty stuff in club dancing or at a party, right? But in this scenario, this is not something you would bring to a slave port where there's been trauma for our people. So you wouldn't do it there. And like Tota said, you have to give him his due on what he just said, because he was 100, because he spoke about all of our people. That's us, the Black Americans, and the ones in the diaspora. He said all of us should know better than to spit on
our history. Because that whole slave thing really centers around Black American and the Africans and the Caribbean and the Brazilian blacks. Wherever there's black people, it all centers around us as a collective, okay? And we all should know better that we should not do things like this to spit on our ancestors and the trauma the amount of history that this place has for what happened with slavery, right? So, like I said, you have to put things in perspective. I love some twerking now, but that's at a party, at a club scene, and all that type of stuff. You play some yin yang twin, and you whistle while you twerk. Shit, that's how you get down with it. And let me tell you something. Even white people or white women have tried to steal that. See, that's black women. But see how white women came in and took that from y'all. You got more big booty white women out here twerking than y'all are now. By the way, Todd, that's another space right there, dude. White women twerking versus black women twerking. I can see a space right there. All right, I'm gonna lay my plane right there, family.
All right, DJ, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, we got to bring that one to the liquor store because we're going to need the music.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to need the music, man. So with that being said, I don't know, you're going to have to get some DJ equipment, Todd, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, what's up, everybody? Newstoter, share the room, share the love. You already know. Shout out to the school tube over there. So what was the first twerking song? Can anybody tell me that? And if you guess right, I will send you a 50-piece of our QR code newsletter. So that's the prize for tonight. Tell me, what's the first twerking song? There you go. And shout out to the homie that defended his mother. You already know that's what my mother always told me. Pick up the nearest object and bust that knacker over the head. So rest in peace to my mother and blessed up to the little homie. Well, hopefully he understand that, killing is wrong to some extent, but when you defend someone else, all bets is off, especially your family. You know what I mean? There you go.
All right. Let me go with Brother Mook. Look like we might be losing him. So let me go ahead and get to Thought. Thought, go ahead, and then Brother Mook will probably come back up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree. I agree with everybody, man. Twerking is crazy, but at the same time, I want to kind of talk about education, right? Education is the issue right here, because honestly, they're going to a different place in the world and they're twerking, but they're not educated of the history of that place, right? So they don't know better, right? You can't blame them for twerking in the area and where they're used to twerking, regardless where they are, right? So I feel like you can't put blame on some random citizens in the world. Be like, oh, you're the problem. You're making them look bad, etc. It's not fair to them, right? They're just regular citizens of the world, and they're not celebrities. And they're just twerking. And I guess social media we're in a world where everything gets expanded and illuminated, right? And everyone sees what you did, the mistake you did. It's not fair to them where we kind of like tell them, oh, you guys are twerking at sacred place, etc. That's where I'm coming from. Regardless, though, it's super wrong, horrible, very, very bad. But I feel like it's a learning lesson. You take them aside, you tell them, listen, what you did was wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. It's a historic place. It has a meaning. It has a history. There's a lot of souls that left this area, right? So that's where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to downplay what they did, but I feel like it's an education opportunity for our people to be like, listen, you shouldn't be twerking everywhere. You know what I mean? There's a time and place for twerking. So I'll be honest. I saw the video. I was like, God damn, that shit was fat. A lot of fat asses in that video. So, but at the same time, time and place for things. So it's education. It's all about education, and that's where it has to come from. Come from love, come from peace, and talk to someone so they understand where you're coming from and not anger. It shouldn't come from somewhere anger and disappointment. It should come from peace and love to educate someone and say, hey, what you did was wrong, and you should be doing this, and et cetera, et cetera. So if you come with aggressiveness of negativity, that person not going to listen to you. we all know this in our community. You talk to someone, you try to tell them what you're doing is wrong in a negative way, they're not going to listen to you. They can just do it the next day. So you got to come in a different perspective of education and communication, because that's where we're lacking is communication, to kind of like, portray a different type of visual communication to our people. So I feel like in that aspect, they did a mistake. They need someone who kind of communicate to them that they made a mistake, and hopefully the next step forward, they won't make that mistake. They make an apology, etc., and move forward. But I just hope they have that guidance where someone can tell them that, because that's what they're lacking, right? So everyone's special in their own regard. Everyone's their own individual. Everyone makes their own mistakes. But regardless, when someone makes a mistake, they have someone who guides them, kind of gives them great advice. Some people don't have that. So in the social media world, you can't judge everyone. You can't assume they know everything. You can't assume that they know better. No one's perfect, right? So that's where I'm looking at a different viewpoint, and I don't like to judge people. In social media, where we're living, cancel culture. We cancel people, we yell at them, we say they're wrong, they're ignorant, etc. That's wrong. If you want to evolve, you got to do better and kind of educate each other internally. That's my two cents. So, yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thought real quick. Let me tell everybody up in the jumbotron, we have the Newstoter YouTube channel. If you guys missed the actual space yesterday, it was about Rizza Islam's trial. His trial, I believe, that just started today, and it was also about Trick Daddy and the his opinion that black people need to stop using the actual race card. That was a pretty good space last night. Definitely, and it's recorded, so you can either catch it on YouTube, or you can also listen to the space here on Twitter as well too. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Up in the jumbotron, I have the Newstoter YouTube channel on the left hand side. That space last night got a decent amount of people that actually subscribe to the YouTube channel. So we're trying to get some subscriptions tonight as well to the YouTube as well too. So if you have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, on the left hand side, it is in the actual jumbotron. It is in the actual jumbotron. So definitely go ahead and subscribe to it. Also here on Twitter, in case when you guys get a chance, go to the actual Newstoter profile page. Now with Twitter, we're able to take subscriptions. I have a subscription based membership that's $3 a month. For anybody that wants to support Newstoter, it's just $3 a month. You have to go to the actual Newstoter profile page and just click subscribe, and it's a $3 a month subscription here on Twitter. So if you guys want to subscribe or support monthly for just $3 a month, you can definitely do that. It's greatly appreciated. For those that can't, or those that don't want to subscribe, we also have the Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, that is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. And we have the Venmo and PayPal also up in the jumbotron for those that do not have a Cash App. Same for everybody on YouTube. We have those links up in the actual description as well too. So like I said, we now do have an actual subscription where you can actually go ahead and subscribe monthly, $3 a month. $3 a month for anybody that wants to subscribe, and in a little membership with Newstoter. If you want to support that way monthly, it is definitely greatly appreciated. You would have to go to the profile page and click subscribe to go ahead and do that as well too. So let me go ahead and get to Brother Muko. I know you had some issues, so let me go ahead and get to you real quick, and then Grace, I'll go ahead and get back to you.
Hey, before you go, Brother Muko, before you go, Rizza Islam charges were dropped, everybody.
I saw somebody post that. Do y'all know that for certain though? Because I saw Carissa. She posted it.
Yeah, they were definitely dropped. It was dismissed in less than 10 minutes, and he hopes that they promote that as much as they promoted that trial for the last 10 years. So yeah, he definitely beat those charges.
All right. Well, shout out to that brother. And like I say, last night, that's why I was trying to have a space without condemning the brother, and trying, like I said, let's give him his time, his day in court, and everything as well too. So shout out to that brother. That was what was that? Yeah, Dana's not in here, and Dana wasn't the only one. There was a number of people last night that was saying stuff about it, Rizal Islam as well too. So it wasn't just it just one Dana. So let's just be real about that. Let me give a real shout out real quick to Rerod, and a shout out real quick to Nathan as well too. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App and PayPal. But yeah, let's just say that because Dana, she gave her opinion on it. She's not in it, but we Shepard and a bunch of other people was up in here saying stuff about Rizal Islam too, and I was like, hey, let's kind of just wait and see how things play out. So if this thing, if the charger, and we'll go ahead and, like, I know you guys said it, I want to go ahead and just verify that just to be on the safe side. But if the damn charges was dropped that quick, that lets you know that they shouldn't even been brought to trial, man. And the same with this thing about the mother and the son being given a damn $3 million bond. A $3 million bond, and then y'all gonna drop the damn charges. Like, what kind of nonsense is this right here we talking about?
And then I want to add that before I say what I was about to say, Rizal Islam did say, yeah, they dropped the damn charges. He was like, yeah, add damn to that. So I just want to say, Tyler, you right on point with that. They dismissed them damn charges, and I knew they were, because I knew that shit was bullshit. But anyway, I wanted to comment on those twerkers again. If they had any knowledge of what those mercenaries and those mercenaries that they sent into Africa to invade Africa, like the Belgian, King Leopold, if they knew what they did to those, because they had a tribe of women that were big hips like that, and they were called, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be mistaken, don't quote me on this, I think they were called the Twa tribe. You know what I'm saying? And they were known for their shapely, backsides and they wide hips. You know what I'm saying? And white men used to exploit them. You know what I'm saying? So I think if them idiots knew anything about that, the last thing they would have been doing was twerking over there. You know what I'm saying? Because the white man definitely exploited our women doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't talking about exploit them in a sexual way. I'm talking about in a sexual deviant way. You know what I'm saying? Where they doing experiments on our women with no anesthesia. Yeah, seeing how much you can take. Seeing how much all that. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even got to get all explicit. Because if y'all know anything about J.A. Rogers and his book that he wrote about how they made slaves down in the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't no twerking situation. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no dancing situation, and it damn sure wasn't no celebratorial situation. You know what I'm saying? So that shit was just totally disrespectful, and I feel like we need to stop giving shit like that a pass because somebody don't know. You know what I'm saying? You made it through the vaginal canal with all your intelligence. You're perfect. If you don't know, you got the equipment to find out what the fuck you need to know. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm talking about changing our value system. And when we learn better, fucking do better. That shit was just totally ignorant. I give that shit no pass. That was.
Let's try to ease up on the cursing, brother Muku, a little bit.
Yeah, my apologies. But if that was any of my daughters, I would definitely be the one checking.
Real talk. Let me go ahead and get to Grace. Let me go ahead. Grace, go ahead. You got it.
Thank you. I would just add that too often beautiful women, and we'll just take my word for it, I'm a beautiful woman myself, get too many passes for inappropriate behavior just because she's got a big ass. Haven't y'all seen enough big asses? Why are we still so entranced by the big behind of a black woman? It's not anything new. And the part of the reason why our culture is so degenerate now is because we give in to our sexual primitivism. You can't tell me that these women walked through that castle, smelled everything, saw everything, scratch marks on the walls, everything, spiritually, and walked up there to what looked like the roof and started started humping the air, and we're supposed to say, oh, they're just sweet and innocent, very beautiful people, so we should just forgive them. We've got to watch out for, and my sister taught me this about something that's called a siren spell, where people are just so mesmerized by the beauty of an individual that all their morals, their principles, it just completely goes out the window. And I bet you if you look through these women's heritage, you'll find similar acts all along their family tree that led up to today. Because people like that, they carry that ignorance with them through their bloodline. So I don't give them any passes, and I like to see what happens to the person who tries to go before the Jewish community or some other aggrieved community and convince them that their people should be doing that. And if by some chance someone goes off code, you try having that conversation with them like, we shouldn't be rude to them. We shouldn't slap their hands. It's a teaching moment. If they were little 10-year-old girls, it's a teaching moment. But these women look to be educated. They have money, or they wouldn't be there and in a position to help others. I think Newstoter said in the intro that one of them are business owners. And when the internet is telling them that it's not representative of our culture, they're pushing back. So these are just queer individuals who just really may have some secret hatred or disdain for Black people, and it shows. Thank you.
And like I said earlier, like let that had been another group of people that did something like that similar. Let that have been 5 or 6 Jewish girls that went to, like I say, to an actual concentration camp over there in Germany and did something like that, and see if they would have got straight. And I guarantee you, once they got straight, and they wouldn't have jumped right back online and started talking noise back to and start giving you a pushback on why they did it and this and that or whatever. Like only in Black America can you do something like that. Talk noise, knowing damn well you was wrong, and still talk noise. You got straight. You should have said, okay, well, we were wrong. We shouldn't have done that or whatever. Come right back and then talk even more noise about it and start giving you reasons, and then start talking about, well, we did this for the people over there. We did that for the people over there. Like I said, you can only Black people, Black Americans could do something like that and sit up here and just go ahead and play and want to play stupid and want to play dumb. And like you said, we knew from when those ladies went over there that they were educated, probably college educated, probably most of them professional women and stuff like that, because poor people are not taking trips to Africa like that. Let's be honest. If you're making $20,000 a year, you're not taking a trip over there to the continent of Africa. So these women had a little. I'm not saying that they're filthy rich and they rolling in dough and all this other stuff, but I'm sure they're doing pretty decent for themselves, and I'm sure that they're pretty educated because they went right to that site. They knew about the history and everything else like that. So why even do that? Like I say, you would only find that like with Black American people, we can sit up here and say, well, we were just doing this and doing that. And then talk about the ancestors. The ancestors had nothing whatsoever to do with that. Getting back to the and cognitive, I got you too. Getting back to the actual the incident with the mother and the son. Like I said, I've heard various things. I heard some people saying that the mother was in there, I don't know if she was going off on people and she got into it and people felt that she was being rude or this or that or whatever. Nonetheless, the situation with the man just going ham like that, that shouldn't have took place or whatever. But like I said before, and I maintain that most men that I know, and I'm talking about men, and that was also 14-year-old kids at one time as well too, if they see their mother being well done and they have a way of stopping that, they're gonna stop that. Straight up. They're gonna put an end to that if they have any kind of respect, any kind of love for their mother. They're gonna go ahead and they're gonna put an end to that. So, like I said, I hate to see that somebody lost their life behind something like that. That is truly unfortunate, and I wish it didn't happen. But the average, especially the average Black male that's 14 years of age, if he sees his mama is just being wailed on like that, and by a stranger at that as well, too, maybe if it was somebody in your family that you may try to go ahead and pull that person off your mother, you may try to jump in, but he's just welling on your mother. And like I say, from the actual article that News One had, they were actually saying that the boy himself was being punched in the face by the man as well too. So I at that point, if your mom's being beaten up on, you being beaten up on by a stranger at that as well, all bets are kind of off. And it's unfortunate that this brother lost his life like that. I wish that situation hadn't happened. I wish he could have just went ahead and walked away. And sometimes that's the best thing. I've been told that it's easier said than done, but sometimes the best thing is to walk away. It's not the easiest thing to do, but sometimes and a lot of times it is the absolute best thing to do is just go ahead and walk away. Take your ego and it may be bruised for a day or two or a few days or whatever, but go ahead and walk away and try to avoid a situation if you can. And unfortunately, that didn't happen with this brother, and he lost his life. And fortunately, this young man doesn't have to pay for it for the rest of his life. He doesn't have to be institutionalized behind, a really what was a act of self defense. Self preservation. He's thinking about his life and his mother's life. So thank goodness, that they didn't go ahead. I mean, once again, we see the DA, we see the prosecutors, we see the judicial system. They're gonna go ahead and Professor and me and Professor because he DM'd me earlier. The same heifer that we was talking about in Florida, we had that space a week or two ago, a couple weeks ago, that killed the Ajax Owens woman. This heifer that shot through a door and killed a woman, only in Florida. They're not even gonna charge this heifer right here. Only in Florida. The same, mind you, the same state that produced the likes of Trayvon Martin situation with George Zimmerman. They're not even gonna charge this heifer after she shoots through the door and kills somebody. So that's what I'm talking about. But yet you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna lay out a $3 million bond on them, bail on them. $3 million, they know damn well they don't have no $3 million. They ain't gonna come up with no $300,000. There's no damn bail, but you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna put it up on them, and then you say, you know what? We know it was self-defense. Let us go ahead and let them go before this thing gets the media really rolls up on our ass too much. Let's go ahead and let them go. Just foolishness right here. Go ahead, Professor.
I was just gonna say right quick that with that situation in Florida with the sister, is it I keep missing her name,
Jakey, but we just call her AJ like we was in the space.
Yeah, AJ. What they're saying is Jakey. Okay,
Jakey with a J, AJIK.
Okay. This DA, y'all, he decided to not pursue the so-called murder charges, but he said that the only thing he can get out of it from the evidence is a 1 count of manslaughter. Basically, that's letting this chick off. She will pretty much get off from that, because all you got to do is get a certain kind of jury, and she'll be free. But so that's what he's saying. He's saying that it's insufficient evidence for murder, but he said that he has enough to charge her with a 1 count of manslaughter, and then he can get an assault, like 1 count of assault charge with a weapon. So you tell me what y'all think. She pretty much gonna be off.
Pretty much. They ain't gonna do nothing to this woman. They done already laid the groundwork to show you that they're not gonna do anything. Cognitive, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
Man, peace, brother. Great space. I'm dealing with these white supremacists tonight at work, but it's all good. I just want to say about that young man. He definitely is gonna need some type of counseling. And let's just keep it a buck. I'm from the South, Newstoter, you in Florida. Brother WPI, you in New Jersey. If we seen our mother getting her butt whooped, we gonna take action by any means necessary. So, I don't feel sorry for dude. The least case was if there was some real solid brothers around, he would have got the shit kicked out of him, and he wouldn't even made it out the door. To speak on that case that's going on in Florida, man, I just feel like we need to put pressure on that lady to make her move out of state, change her name, make the rest of her life hell, because that's what they do to us. And I'll land my point.
Yeah, you're right about that, Congress. We gotta go ahead and keep the pressure up on it as well too. But like I said, we are Florida for all of the beaches and the Disney World and all that other nonsense that they sell to the rest of the world. It's still part of old Dixie. So yeah, we can keep the pressure up on as much as they want to, but we definitely they're letting you know, right now how they're trying to frame things and set things up as well too. I gotta read a couple comments here like real quick on Twitter, man. Like we got some people wild, so let me go ahead and read a couple of these comments. DJ, I'm gonna get to you, but this is from Indianapolis. May says, hold up, y'all mad black women are twerking on a slave castle ran and supplied by African slave traders? No African country should be able to profit off not slave trade memorials there. All that money should go to blacks. Those Africans sold to the Western Hemisphere. Okay, nobody got an issue with that. And then we got created by design saying, like Grace said, why are y'all so entranced by the same place poop falls, shaking everywhere with no decorum? It's crazy. So I just had to read those comments real quick. But go ahead, DJ.
I don't even remember what the hell I was gonna say after you just read that.
I mean, damn. Oh snap!
Oh
Like,
man, that nigga don't forgot. That's that quick. I had to shoot over to the comments myself.
hey, she just really went in with that last one. Like, Lord, like I guess we can't. No, listen. I think we already said we talked about that wasn't a place and time to do the twerking or whatever. But I mean, I guess men can't like certain parts of a woman's body or whatever. Like, but okay, say what you want to say, but it is what it is. But I respect it, but whatever.
Right. So, just to speak over what Connor was saying. So, that's the young man in Chicago or whatever that's protecting his mom. That's all he was doing. So, yeah, like my mother used to say, pick up the nearest object. You can't beat him with your hand straight up. Pick up the nearest object and just go in. So, he only did what he was told to do by his mother. You know what I'm saying? Or his father or whoever, big uncle, brother, street homie, whatever it was. And then obviously his experience of gunning a knacker down or assaulting his family member is a lived experience. But where he at, Chicago, that's gun central right there. You know what I mean? And Chicago is the last fort stand front, as we understand now with this immigration. That might be the last Black American city in America at this point. That's like really trying to hold on to whatever is there. That's Chicago to them. You know what I mean? Which got a really, really deep Black American Negro knacker Freeman history. You know what I'm saying? So protect Chicago, protect all the black cities, Compton, North, you know what I mean, Houston, down there in Florida, where you at, wherever it be, Atlanta, wherever it be. So, but we need to really enact our black state, because things happen to Ajiki, you know what I mean, Owens, AJ, you know what I mean? That can't happen in no black state, you know what I'm saying? Especially dumped out of the hands of somebody else. It don't look like one of our own. That's a no-no, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what is it we gonna do to actually apply that type of pressure? I don't know what it is to get the word out on anything like that. I'm doing what I can with this newsletter. So, hey man, support the newsletter is in the Jumbo Trizzy. So, all right, I'm gonna check the date. Some people did answer the question. I'm gonna check cross-reference the date with another song that I'm really thinking of that I feel that is really the first twerk record. But I'll be back on that one. And but oh yeah, don't support the Asians anymore because that was an Asian restaurant. They was at, I don't know what the hell is y'all problem eating Chinese food all the damn day. Like, damn, you could cook that shit at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, yo. You know what I'm saying? Y'all that lazy, y'all can't cook that type same shit at home. You know what I'm saying? For real nowadays. Like, they ain't even try to mediate the dude and the mother whatever argument they had. They didn't even try to say, hey, yo, bro, chill. You know what I'm saying? Chill out, man. Whatever the situation is. They cowards themselves. And so was everybody else that was in the restaurant. You keep it real, you know what I'm saying? Because the moment he leaned in on it, the Naka should have jumped his ass like boop, 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 and left it for what it was and shit, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, man, and then now you saying that he might have smacked the little homie up too and shit, it's over, man. You know what I'm saying? It's over. You got to go, yo, you know what I mean? Because, and then the other brother said, hey, he might have done this before to another female. Man, listen, this is why you don't put your hands on no female because you don't know who they know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who they know, man. Straight up, man. Every female I know usually got a brother, uncle, somebody they know that's ain't playing them games, man. You know what I'm saying? They ain't playing with them games. Stop playing, man. But yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna check that question. So if y'all wanna get in on the question right there on the top left, what was the first twerking song? Go ahead, man.
You got it, Volvo.
Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, you a little bit low, but I can hear you. Go ahead.
Let's see what I don't know my piece at.
Go ahead and talk, though. I can hear you.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I can hear you fine now. Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah. I just wanted to know. I've been working all day. Did they release a full video of the situation?
I didn't see a full video. I don't know about Professor and them or whatnot, but I don't know about a full video of it. Has anybody seen an entire full video? Because I'm not sure if there's one out there.
I haven't seen a full video. I just saw the video that's been out there in the spaces where he punching her in the face and stuff. That's it.
So nobody's seen a full video? Because that's suspicious to me, though. I'm like that they would release a little segment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see the full video. What was the interaction? Like, did the camera just cut on right there? Or was it altercation before that? Because when I listen to people speak, they say it might have been this, it might have been this before that. Nobody don't know what it was before that. Is it any eyewitnesses that said, yeah, this and that, he was a crazy man that just flipped out? Or did she do something to him? Or what was the situation, though? What was the, you know what I mean? We just see him punching her, telling her, you know, that shit look horrible. You said what?
Well, I think for some people were saying that they must have got into some kind of argument in there. I'm not exactly sure, Volvo. What?
Nobody know.
Yeah, I don't know what escalated to that situation.
That's what I don't like, though, huh? That's what I don't like about the whole situation. Like, the police ain't even saying what was the? Did she cut him? Did he cut her? What was the situation? Did he say that she got on a bad looking dress? Is he a crazy dude that hang out in front of the restaurant and just fuck with people? Like, what was the situation? Like, the reason why I want to know is I want to know how can we avoid this shit in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like, what, the man dead and gone. I don't know. I guess that I heard they dropped the charges, and some people say they didn't drop the charges.
They dropped the charges.
Like, completely?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I feel as though we should be able to see the full video. You show us a part of it, that's just suspicious to me. That's all I want to know.
No problem. Black Native was coming up here, but I see she's disconnecting. Black Native, you get a chance, come back up here. T-Way, go ahead and unmute your mic. Well, hold on. Let me get the Black Native because she was up there. She must have had a connection issue. I'll get to you, T-Way. Black Native, can you? Nope, I just saw her. Let me see if she Black Native, can you hear me? Let me see. Black Native, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. I had to come in and come back out. Hey, I'm Newstoter. What's up, DJ and Professor?
Hey, what's up now?
What's up?
Keep up to the room. I'm going to speak about, first let me speak about the twerking on a slave castle. It's a lot of degenerate behavior, and in these, as far as with the Black community in general, which, we need to kind of shut it down, because I've seen videos of them twerking on police cars, twerking on top of ambulances while they're in the middle of, doing their duties. Could be a life and death situation. They on the top twerking on top of an ambulance. So yeah, this degenerate, low vibrational behavior that seems to be running rampant in our community. Yeah, we have to do something about that. I can understand when a person said, why should we show any kind of respect over in Ghana, because they were the ones that sold us, but the people that were, the disrespect comes into play of the ancestors that were in those dungeons, that was their last, I think that's the point of return, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what they call it. And that was the last time they would be able to see Ghana until they were shipped over here to America, or prior, shipped to the North America. But With that being said, yeah, we have to try to figure out why is it, what is this thing, and why it seems like, there's no senses. Like at any given time, somebody could break out and start twerking. Could be at a funeral, and you just start seeing this degenerate bullshit. Pardon my French. BS go on. Now with the video, I don't know what Volvo rant. You sound like one of them white supremacists who's always saying, "I need more information. I need more facts." The video starts where they're having looks like a verbal altercation. They're going back and forth with each other, and then he, cocks his fist with the whole hand of God and commence to whipping this stranger's ass. Okay, I believe he probably was abusive. He might have been drunk. He might have been high. But let's speak about the fact that the men that were there ran out. There's two men there on that line behind her. They could have diffused the situation prior to it getting to that point of him putting hands on a stranger. Her son was justified. Glad the charges were dropped. I would have did the same thing, and probably every other person in here, if they saw their mother, in distress or, being beat up. He could have killed her because he was fighting her like he was beating her like she was a man. He didn't slap her. He did the 5 fingers of death on her ass and punched her and kept continually. So, I mean, what other option did this 14-year-old child have, knowing that there was a gun in the car, but to defend his mother, and rightfully so. And I'm glad the charges were dropped. Unfortunately, this man lost his life. I understand he had 2 daughters. Now their daughters don't have a father. But what would he have been teaching his daughters if he was just set off? He was set off just by verbal argument. Too emotional. And that's all I want to say. We don't need a 50-minute video to see that this man was beat just because they were having a verbal disagreement. Doesn't mean you put your hands on someone. Okay? She didn't touch him. She didn't hit him. She didn't slap him. So, yeah, we're not going to try to figure out. We ain't trying to figure out what the fuck happened. We all saw the video. And I'll just land on that. And I know he's going to come back with something, but it is what it is. I'll land.
All right. Now, T-Way, you had your hand up a second ago. Did you still want to speak, or you okay?
Yeah, I just want to add on that because she hit it. She hit my point head on. I don't condone hitting women at all. I don't condone getting beat up by anybody. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to. You don't need to know. She was probably wrong. You know he was wrong. No matter what she did, he could have slapped her, shook her, whatever. He didn't have to put his hands on her. But this man went Mike Tyson on her. It ain't no mean, not 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit. He went there really physically do some bodily harm. So I don't need to know what happened. Like, he could have left. He did not have to go straight, toe to toe like she was a man. He got with it. I hate see black men die. I don't condone that shit. But it's not too much she could have said. Nothing she could have said would have warranted that response of that many hits. Not a closed fist. He reeled back. All 5, come on now. Come on. I don't care what transpired. Every man in there was a bitch nigga. Every man, old man, young nigga, all niggas bitch ass, bitch made motherfuckers who did not de-escalate that. That could have easily back up, spread them out, take 5. But I don't know none of that shit. I hate to see black men get dealt with, but you need more information. That's a lame response. I don't care what she said. Maybe slap, maybe push, maybe a shake. But that beat down, nah, bro. Ain't no passes for that. No explanation for that. I'll land it there.
Thank you, T-Way. Appreciate it. Let me go ahead and get the Volvo. Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic. You there, Volvo? Let me try again.
I can't hear nobody yet. The last person I heard was T-Way.
That was the last person speaking. Okay, he must be having some connection issues. So, Muffet, go ahead. Well, let me see. He's coming back up. Let me try to get him up here. Let's see. He was having some connection issues. Let's see if it's straightened out now. Volvo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. You know, like. Let me. I'm gonna chill tonight, bro. Listen, if we ain't asking for all the information and they got all the information, and y'all don't want to hear all the information, I didn't say nothing. No, that's really frustrating that she would say that. But I already got her blocked. That's just trolling. If we ain't, what type of people is we if we don't ask for all the information? That's all I said. I didn't say if he was right or if he was wrong. All I said is it's suspicious that they wouldn't put out all the information. I'm the type of nigga that if he hit her for no reason, I don't feel like it's a tragedy that he did. I feel like that's good that he did. If he hit this woman for no reason, it's a blessing that he's out of the community. That's a blessing. Like they did what they were supposed to do. If he in there hitting her for no reason. But some of y'all niggas is weird, bro. I don't know where y'all live, but let me explain this to you, bro. Can I put a video I did up, man? Because that's the only way I can really, I don't know, like these niggas be trolls on here. Man, listen, women will disrespect you, bro. They'll do some violation shit to violate you and make you want to hit them like a man. Now, some of y'all some real niggas, oh, never hit a woman and all that. A woman can't do anything to me. A man can't do anything to me. A child can't do anything to me. There's certain levels to everything. I don't know what she did. I'm not saying if she right or she wrong. All I said is I want to see the whole video. We don't ask her for all the truth. Like, and then, like, people supposed to take us serious. No, we want all the truth. Some people, like, women will get, I don't know if y'all ever been violated by a woman. And then you went, I don't know what type of niggas y'all is, but let me say this. You can't just do anything to me, man. Period. Like, I don't know what the situation was, but let me say this. She was probably right. I don't know. All I said is I want the whole information. And I've been saying this for a long time. I even said this in here. Listen, bro, I didn't cut you off. Listen, I even said this in here. I said, well, ladies, don't crash your son out about some attention. Don't crash your nephew, your father, your brother, your husband out. Women will do that. Some of y'all niggas don't get bitches. Y'all don't know when somebody wants your attention. Somebody that, it's goofy niggas like we all watch Tariq, right? It's goofy people that are show up at your museum trying to get attention. Trying to take a picture in front of your museum.
Hold on. Stop calling women bitches.
Yeah, let's not get into the bitches thing now. Come on.
I'm gonna drop out, bro. Listen, bro. I'm saying something that's real, bro.
Well, yeah, but you can't just say y'all don't get, some of y'all don't get women. And, hey, be quiet, everybody, and stop coming off your microphones. But straight up, you just can't say some of y'all don't get women. Because we do got.
I don't get women, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, Volvo, but I'm saying it is a bunch of women in the spaces too. I mean.
All right, bro, Professor, you can't call me out on nothing, because, bro, you got one of the filthiest, racistest mouths ever. You talk shit about everybody, bro. Listen, bro, we ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that shit is corny with y'all on, bro. Women will violate you, and women know what I'm talking about. The women will play on you like that. Women,
you don't hear me up in this space referring to women as.
All right, Professor, real quick. Let him go ahead and finish what he's got to say, though. Go ahead and matter of fact, everybody's coming off their mic too much tonight, too. Everybody stay on your mic. Go ahead, Volvo. All right, I'm gonna say this because we've had about at least 5 times in the space tonight. People keep coming off of the microphone when somebody's speaking. They say something that somebody doesn't want to hear, or they want to add. Go listen. Wait till the person is done, and not only that, wait your turn too. Okay, wait your turn. Wait till that person is through speaking, and if you're not next after that person, hey, sit there and wait patiently, like everybody else waits for their turn as well too. Let me go ahead and get the Muffet. Muffet, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Way to moderate, Newstoter. How you doing, family?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Muffet?
Doing all right. Good to see everybody today, or speak with everyone. I don't normally comment on things that I don't know the full details of. I don't like to speculate, but I wanted to look at the state's handling of this case. I wanted to look at it from that perspective. Seems unusual that they would drop the charges in a case like this and drop them so soon, because I'm looking at the details, and I don't know the full details, but deadly force was used against someone that was just involved in the fight. So normally in law, you know, if you use deadly force, you can only use it to defend someone that has deadly force being used against them, or someone that's using deadly force themselves, you can use it to defend yourself against them. You can't use it against someone that only has their fist. They would have to have a weapon, or they would have to be attacking you in a way that can kill you, you know, without trying to make an argument that, yeah, punches from a man can kill a woman. That would be a stretch. What came to mind, and I'm not sure, someone could, you know, let me know if it's true or not. If Kim Foxx is still the AG in Chicago, I remember that the state had made a law where if she makes certain decisions, that the police can overrule her. And I'm looking at this as going to end up backfiring and turning against us, where they use this to say she made a wrong decision in not charging someone, and they use that to take more power away from her in order to enforce all the laws they want to enforce against the black, you know, citizens of Chicago. So I don't know if it's going to turn out that way, but I see it as something that could backfire on our people there overall, because they have been targeting her. And I'm not saying she's for us, but sometimes they all work together. They just use this as, you know, a way to take more power away from the people. She could be working with them, but if she's making decisions legally that they can outright say, hey, she made the wrong decision, then that'll give them an excuse to take all the state power away, all her legal authority away, and put in unelected forces that can always use the law enforcement against us, and we have no recourse against them. And that was my thoughts on the situation.
Muppet, in response to what you just said, they did that to her in the Justin, what's his name? Justin Smollett. That's who I was trying to think of. They did that to her for that specific case.
Juicy Smouye.
Yeah, they did that for that case. It has nothing to do with this case, but that's what you're referring to.
Yes, but I believe they passed over a law where they can intervene at any moment. To my understanding, I can look that up, but the state officials either proposed it or they passed it in their state house to be able to.
They brought in a special prosecutor to overrule her in the Justin Smollett case because they was pissed off about the fact that they felt like he had got away with the crime because she decided not to prosecute him. So they brought in a special prosecutor. They passed some kind of way they were able to get a special prosecutor in for that case to overrule her. But that case.
All right.
That's fine. I can see that being it could be repeated that in this case.
All righty. All right.
Because it's a black on black situation.
All right. Real quick, let me go ahead and get to Black Native. Black Native, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, thank you. I think Bobo Rant left the space, but he said he blocked me. I blocked him too. He's mad because I said he came in my DMs and he got no props. So let's just keep it real. I'm not losing sleep, sigh, and yawn for him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a goofball. He sounds goofy to me. I was in another space and we had the same conversation. And I brought up a case that happened in October 2022 where it was in Kansas City. It was the boyfriend, the girl shot and killed an ex firefighter who was choking her boyfriend out. And she shot and killed him, and she got away with self-defense, and it's called Stand Your Ground. So I don't know if Chicago has that law in effect, but what the son did, because the mother, he could have killed that woman. I don't know what Muffin just said that a man punching on a woman. I don't know where that came from, but it's been several cases of people being beaten to death. And you don't know what other health issues she could have had by him beating on her. He could have killed her. So I want to know, does anybody know if Chicago has the stand your ground law or the castle doctrine in that state? Because the situation, the woman shot the white man, and he was a white man, killed him, now her boyfriend, and the son shot and killed this man who was beating on. So, anybody know about that in Chicago?
I don't live in Chicago, Black Native, but I'm not sure about that. But I agree with you were saying. I know Muffet was saying about the actual that I guess it was hard for a man to kill a woman, but men have been known to kill men with their hands. So every year in boxing, I know it's boxing. Every year, somebody in boxing around the world dies from that actual sport. But yeah, men have beaten men to death and stuff like that as well too. Let alone women. So yeah, you can you can kill somebody. The expression, you can kill somebody with your bare hands. If you get somebody vulnerable to the point where they can no longer defend themselves and they taking repeated blows to the head, yeah, you most certainly can kill somebody. Yeah, and that's one reason when you see a boxing match, they wave it off or they throw in the towel because that person's defenseless and that person could very well get killed out there. So yeah, I mean it's been known to happen numerous times. But I don't know if we have any Chicago people in the space about to stand your ground. I'm not sure about that, Black Native. Yeah, I don't know if we have any people up here in Chicago. I'm gonna get to a couple new speakers. I want to get a no taxation. I'm gonna get to Carissa as well too.
Please be Belly. Bella, you from Chicago. I see she giving no hundreds. Come on up, CC. If you want, I don't know. I'll send you an invite.
All right. Go ahead, no taxation. How you doing today? And real quick, let me give a shout out to Cognitive for his contribution on Cash App as well too. But go ahead, no taxation.
I'm doing pretty good. We having bad storms. I don't know if DJ have. We got.
Oh yeah, I got caught in that thing. I was whipping the truck in that thing, but we good though. 4x4 gang. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm glad, cause man, it's still raining over here. So I want to take this a couple different ways.
Hey, no taxation. Can you turn your volume up any, or you got headphones on or something?
No, is this better though?
It's about the same, but go ahead.
Let me stand up here. Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
DJ always talk about people that and they old raggedy phones. So I got to get a new phone. But anyway, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna move on. I just think that twerking needs to happen in places where twerking is accommodated and accepted. You go to the club, you twerk. Maybe you having an outdoor barbecue, you twerk. You understand what I'm saying? So I think there are some places where twerking is definitely accepted and could and should be done, and there's other places where it should not be done. And is it a sign of disrespect? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know because I'm not in that generation. So, mother and son, the charges dropped. It's my understanding that the full video yesterday was out, but it was only out for like a millisecond, and then they took it back. It was cut originally. They never did show the man being shot in the back and running because he was shot inside of the place, and then he ran out, and the little boy shot again. There's no situation where my son would not have done the same thing. In fact, he probably would not have had to go get a gun unless the man had a gun because his hands were registered as lethal weapons and in the state of Florida. And, he could have hit him one time and the man would have been down. So I understand why the little boy felt the need to shoot and protect his mother because that's what boys do. It's just what they do. And they do it as men. They grow up to be men that protect theirs. Unlike that guy who hit the woman in the face, he's the total opposite of that. He didn't feel he needed to protect any kind of woman or child. And if you look at him, if you watch him and he had his fist balled up, so he was sitting on 10 anyway. It could have been anybody. He was sitting on 10. I don't think it really had as much to do with the woman as it had to do with the man who whatever she said, the man who hit her. Because if you look at him, he looked like a Looney Tune. And he looked like a bird on the street. That's just what it is. And here's where, and so, he got shot. The boy shot him again. They said that the community came out after they charged the mother and the son. The community leaders came out and said, you need to drop those charges. And they said, well, she said to kill him. And in the video, it says this and blah, blah, blah. They said, you don't understand what Chicago is about. Because if you shoot somebody and they live, they're going to come back and kill you. And they're going to kill every member of your family. Which is true. They pulled the root in Chicago. It's called pulling the root. They do it in Florida. It's called pulling the root. That's what they do. And so I think that had a lot to do with those charges being dropped. Now, having said that, go back and look at the video again and watch that rat run across the floor. And look and see who owned that place. This is why we have to get those places shut down. Somebody said yesterday, this would not have happened in a Black American place. And I believe that's true. Because people act a certain sort of kind of way because they understand it probably is a handgun, rifle, or something up underneath the table waiting on people who come in and act a fool in their place of business. If you see that the workers there were highly protected, look how high those counters are. And then nobody else is protected. See? I don't know if they had bulletproof glass up there. I remember the times when they started in D.C., they started putting the bulletproof glass up there, and that shuts the patrons out. They're no longer a part of the facility anymore. Come get your stuff, pay your money through the window, the bulletproof glass window, and get on up out of here and next. And you have to get those places about your neighborhood. See, they didn't. Then people don't care nothing about you shooting each other in their place of business. They'll mop it up and open up the next day or whenever the police tell them they can. So when you see rats running across the place, the rat was scared. The rat, go back and look at the video and watch that rat run across the floor. Just look for the rat. And then you see what kind of place you're dealing with. They need to get out of our neighborhoods. See? And so we don't have mess like this. And so I blame it on the business as much as I do the man who was sitting on 10 and got killed. And I'm going to leave it there.
All right. Thank you. No taxation. Once again, guys, let's try to go ahead and see if we can get somebody to subscribe to that YouTube channel tonight. It's up in the Jumbotron on the left-hand side, second on the left-hand side. So if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, and I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 people up in the space that haven't, go ahead and go up in the Jumbotron, click that link, go to YouTube, and go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can listen to the space as we're going as well, too. So definitely go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let me go ahead. It's been a minute, but let me go ahead, Carissa. I haven't heard you in the space in a long time, but I know you said you were just raising your hand as I was closing the space out last night, so I apologize for that. But what's going on with you tonight?
Hi, everybody. Good night. Yeah, I've been busy working, so my apologies. I try to catch up with everything on YouTube. So let me start by saying this. 27 states have the stand your ground law for people who don't know. As far as the mother-son charges, I am glad that they got dropped. They also, Illinois doesn't have really stand your ground, but they have something that you can use deadly force, and that's under their Penal Law Code 720. So he had the right to protect his mom. And for me, growing out in the South, we learned to shoot when we were 6 years old. I know people say, I don't want my child learning. But you still down in the South. You have to learn how to protect yourself. That's one. This twerking shit, excuse my French, has to stop. It's embarrassing now. It's degenerate. As I remember one time they was twerking on an ambulance and that person almost died and they didn't care. They did it on a couple of the Capitol grounds when they was doing their dances, thinking that they're helping Black people. Anytime I see Black people dancing on state grounds or anything of this sort, meaning you don't know what the heck you're talking about, because ain't nobody was here twerking or anything. What they was about their business. And some of these, and I don't think they understand, there is a spiritual aspect to this as well. Because when slave ships came from the west side of Africa, like Kenya, Benin, all of that, that was incorporating with the spirits. So by the ancestors coming over here and what they were practicing before the whole Bible and everything, people forgot that's what they were into. And it was brought here. That's why you have down south, there are root workers. They won't tell you, but there are a lot of root workers down there. And there's a lot of spirituality within Africa. And also what happened in Florida, actually Moodley, if I'm not mistaken, is the Attorney General, because I think Pam has stepped down back in 2001. News let me know. That's another stand your ground issue. I doubt, and I'm not shocked they won't bring charges against her. I won't be shocked if you see Jose Baez as well. And if people who don't know who Jose Baez is, that was George Zimmerman's attorney. That was Casey Anthony's attorney. And also that was Aaron Hernandez's attorney. So he's known for getting convictions his way. And I think as Black people, we have to know the laws in the state that we live in. Even if I know people thinking, oh, that's Cornish. No, that's how they get us. They know the laws and they know Black people do not read. So they use the laws to their advantage. If you live in a Commonwealth, the laws are different than within the state. Because if you are in that Commonwealth laws govern that. It's important that we educate ourselves to the fullest, because they come for us. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you, Carissa. Let me go ahead and get to Rella. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Newstoter, DJ, Professor.
Hey, what's up, Rella?
Everybody in the space. How you guys doing?
We up at twerking.
What's up?
I hear it.
I'm in twerking right now.
Well, you know what? Ain't nobody gonna judge you.
Nobody want to see that shit.
I'm gonna start with the twerking. The twerking situation, I don't really necessarily have an issue with people twerking in settings that.
Answer the question in the jumbotron, top left hand side.
Top left hand side. The top side. You talking about the question that's up that I can see? Mother and son charges drop twerking on the slave castle.
Don't worry about it right now, Rella. Just go ahead and get to your point before you lose your train of thought.
Thank you. Okay, I can't see all the questions. Sorry, guys. Okay, what was the first? I don't know. Shit, I gotta think about that first twerking song. I don't know. The Yin Yang Twins might be Little John. I don't know. I have to think about that. Rex and effects probably. Okay, let me keep going. Anyway, the twerking in settings, and I think I agree with no taxation in settings that require it or allow it to be a standard of dance. Twerking on cars, putting yourself in danger in places that are like monuments, symbols of spaces that are supposed to recognize harms done to either during the transatlantic slave trade or any type of American descendant, yeah, that's a no. That is a no. Matter of fact, the BET Awards was trash, and you only had a few people. I feel like a few singers that upheld, the class and dignity that was left, I think, for BET Awards. But then when you look at culturally, the different people that showed up, and that showed their heiress on TV, even like they were showing a video of the chick that be rolling with Sukiyana, twerking, and to a song called something. My purse is pink, and my back door is brown or whatever. And they're in the crowd, and Bobby, the gospel singer, he's sitting in the midst of them. The older people are sitting in the midst of them, and they're like, "What is going on?" But when you look at it, I don't even remember our awards. Even our award show had become some trash. Now, I remember the Source Awards. Okay, you already know what you was about to get when you watched the Source Awards. But at least at some point we had class to an extent with the BET Awards. So now when you look at it, it seems as if we're becoming so tolerable that we're not willing to now tolerate the things that we have allowed to pretty much go past their expiration date. And I that is a part of, I think, of the never not having the passing of the torch culture maintained when it came to honoring who we are, the grace of us, the class of us, the beauty of us, the elegance of us. In that regard, now we just don't even care where we are. We're walking outside with bonnets and stuff in our hair and on camera, like people just looking at us kind of like we don't have no type of class and style. So we're gonna adopt the parts of our community that seem to be running rampant on social media. So that is my opinion on that. I was always raised that you don't walk outside and represent your family's last name in an undignified way. I didn't say I wasn't hood. I didn't say I didn't have hood in me. I didn't say I couldn't get ghetto. I didn't say any of that. All I'm saying is there is parts of me that are elegant and beautiful, and I'm representing my family's last name as much as if I get into a altercation, I'm representing my family's last name. The other thing was the mother and son. I don't know what Bobo was talking about. I understand that you want to get all the information, but that is up to you to do prior to you coming in spaces. Most people have already watched the video. I actually did a lot of lurking down the thread when I first saw the story about the mother and son. And the argument was she was standing in line, and it seems as if they started having an altercation in line, but I don't think it was with her, because there was another female in the video that you hear say, he told you, and then he proceeds to using his arms, his hands as weapons. And so in Chicago, which Carissa is correct, Chicago does not have stand your ground laws, but they do recognize the castle doctrine principles, and it does say that deadly force can be used if you are protecting someone else, if they are presenting harm, and it doesn't say how deadly force is applied. So if anybody's upset because he got terminated, take that up with Jesus, go to your closet and pray. That's all I can tell you. Because if you're going to put your hands on someone's mother, and it took a 14-year-old teenager to put himself in a position of what the men in that room could have done prior to even using a weapon. to actually de-escalate or to protect that woman. They did not do that. Even the woman who was encouraging him to strike her, and then he struck her, and he said in his words, "I'm going to knock you the F out. I'm going to knock you the F out." Well, if you're going to knock me out, what happens afterwards is your consequence, not mine. If you're going to put your hands on somebody, cause and effect, that's the laws of physics. And so I pray his daughters, well, a good life in spite of their dad being a degenerate. No one mentioned that the mother, who was struck multiple times, need counseling. The mother and son together are going to need counseling. You could see the mom had her hands in her lap before he even struck her. All she was doing, she kept talking. If he had control of himself, he could have walked out of the establishment if it was going to come to that. He didn't have to stay there. And I did see the rat crawl across the floor. There is a lot going on so many levels with that whole situation. And I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for the mother and the son. I hope they sue the police department if, in fact, the case they were falsely charged without them fully investigating, because the charges were not dropped until that video was released. Miss Jones, the Stand Your Ground down in Florida, the manslaughter charge and not the murder charge. I'm very upset about that, because that woman used her camera, her Ring camera. She used her Ring camera so she knew where to shoot. She knew where to, and this is why I need people to hear me. That woman used her Ring camera so she knew where to shoot on the other side of the door. If she had a Ring camera on the outside, I do believe that she probably had cameras on the inside of her house. Why there's no FOIA request being made to have her home investigated for additional cameras that can provide elements of to this case. That woman should be under the jail. She is the typical person that I would say, if Stand Your Ground is in Florida, Stand Your Ground means that you have the right to retreat to protect yourself. And if you do not do that, then you can go ahead and do what you got to do. However, this woman cheated. She used a Ring camera. She used a Ring camera to know where to shoot that woman when that woman was standing up against it, she was standing knocking on the door. She wasn't banging on the door. She wasn't aggressive. She was knocking on the door, and that woman, she is the one who initiated it by assaulting that woman's son. And she should be under the jail. If we allow this to get off like we did with George Zimmerman, and he's still walking around here free as a bird, Carolyn Bryant was able to go to her resting place. Shame on us. Shame on us. And I'll end there.
Alrighty, let me go ahead and get to I know Volvo was up here, but he must have dropped down or whatever. But let me go ahead and get to Muffet. Muffet, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, everyone. I just wanted to clarify. I do understand that someone can use their hands to kill someone else. It's not usual, but it can happen, and sometimes it is recognized in law. But I just want to say that there's a difference between one of the examples that one of the speakers used prior of someone being choked and killing the person that was assaulting them. That was probably right then and there where the person was choking them, and they shot the person to get off them. And I just want everyone to understand there's a difference. The way the law looks at it, there's a difference in where the deadly force is imminent or being used, or if it just happened. So I want to say that if someone attacks you and then the assault stops and they try to get away and you shoot them, normally almost in every state, they will look at that. And that person, first of all, I want to say it, and that person is no longer a threat because they either stop the attack or they're trying to get away. If you kill them, normally the state would charge you with an offense because they're no longer a threat to you. They're trying to get away. Kill them. So I just want to say that that's where I think that this could be used against the DA, where the people from the state will intervene and say she's no longer fit to be a DA because she didn't charge properly. I understand that the person attacked the mother. I also think it's interesting that they didn't charge. It kind of tells me that the gun was probably legally owned by the mother, so they didn't try to charge the mother or the child with having an illegal firearm, and that's a good thing. But like we all need to understand, we talk about, like I always talk about, black controlled state. We have to create our own laws. The laws as they stand in most of these states, even with the stand your ground states, the danger has to be imminent. So if he punched the mother and then he's for a few seconds and then he stopped and then he went on to some other business and the son came in and the mother said, "This is the person who just attacked me," and the son shot him, almost no jurisdiction would recognize that as being justified. That's why I questioned it. I mean, you can question my reasoning, but normally, like, if to my knowledge, if the assault stops, there's no more reason to use deadly force against the previous aggressor. Also, what I thought was interesting, I'm trying not to lose my train of thought, is that someone brought up, I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. There was one other interesting point, but I can't remember what that was. So I just wanted to clarify. I understand that someone can kill someone. Oh, it just came back to me. If the person said that I'm going to knock you out, if this all went to trial, if he happened to survive, and it went to trial, the defense would use the argument that he was saying, "I'm going to knock you out, not that I'm not going to kill you," even though his blows and the force he used could have killed someone, because you don't know what the victim can tolerate. But he was saying, "I'm going to knock you out." So I just want to point that out. We have to be look at things clearly. If deadly force isn't being used against you right then and there, and or the threat isn't imminent to cause severe bodily harm or death, then using deadly force against the attacker is normally unjustified. And I'll stop there.
All right, all right. Let me go ahead and get to. We're gonna get to our final three speakers for the night. Let me go ahead and get to Volvo. Then we're gonna go to Rella. Then we'll go to Black Native, and we'll probably go ahead and get ready to close the space down for the night. Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I want to touch on the castle thing. Man, them cheeks sure was moving, boy. Them cheeks. I just watched the video again. Them some nice looking young ladies there that was doing that twerking over there. Let me say this. That stuff gonna happen. They been twerking. They gonna continue to twerk. That ain't nothing. They can't hear no conversation like this. That ain't gonna stop. That ain't nothing that's new. You know, like shit. The hood rats, they got money too now. They able to travel. They able to go eat at nice restaurants. Now, they shouldn't be doing that just anywhere. But it is what it is. They ain't hearing that pro-black shit. They don't want to hear none of that. They want to get a YouTube video up. They want to get a TikTok up. They trying to go viral, and that's what they did. They knew exactly what they was doing, and they got their views up. They got their likes up. So that's all that was about. And for the nice video, all four of them chicks is moving. I land my plane. I appreciate you letting me speak, brother.
All right. Thank you, Volvo. Let me go ahead and get to Rella. And matter of fact, everybody, let's keep it a little bit short too, because like I said, we're gonna be ending this space soon. So go ahead, Rella.
Okay. So I understand what Muffet is saying, but I think because Chicago does not have a well mapped out policy on the Castro Doctrine, only pulls from particular parts of it. And it does not state again what deadly force looks like. So that means if you the man was attacking the mom, at no point did he stop, and he was shot. And they don't even show a video they haven't released any additional videos showing that he was shot. Now, I do know that somebody stated that in an article, they said that he ran out the building and the young boy kept shooting, but the police haven't confirmed that. So I want to say I don't really care. I think that if the young boy in his mental state was, I need to protect myself and my mom from this deranged person, I'm going to do whatever is necessary, because I don't know if he's going to go get something and come back. He, like, at this moment in time now, we're kind of like, almost like we're grasping for straws. But I can see if we were talking about another particular case, then yes. But this particular case, it was pretty much what it is. And if they decide to go after Kim Fox because she made the decision after that video came out, they're going to have to definitely prove why it is that they arrested the mother and did not, get her medical attention and get the son any type of additional counseling in regards to. They normally have like a EMS counseling response team. So if that didn't happen, then they're going to have to figure out, hopefully not, a lawsuit against the city and the police department. And that's where I would go next. If you arrest me and somebody attacked me, and I was justified in my protection. Like I said, the slave castle situation. A man who likes booty is going to, women is going to have the outlook that Bobo has. I'm not kind of mad at that. But what I will say is that if you're not in the lens of upholding honor and what it looks like in regards to the little things that we have that we can reach back to, that has to do with who we are as a people and what things symbolize the atrocities that where we come from, then you do practice a form of degeneracy. You may not think you do, but you do. And like I said, they can twerk all day long, but if they're going to twerk, it needs to be done where it's appropriate. I mean, people just reading a room would know better. Hell, I'm not even going to say I don't twerk if I'm dancing and having fun, but if I'm doing it somewhere where it's appropriate. And the slave castle is not appropriate. Okay, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Rella. Let me go ahead and get to Black Native. Black Native, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I just wanted to correct Muffet. He shot the man inside of the restaurant while he was in the act of beating his mother. It wasn't after the fact. So if you watch the video, you can actually hear him shooting the man while the man was still punching on his mother. So this is not something that he left the store and then, he followed him and shot. It happened inside of the Chinese, whatever kind of place.
Get that popcorn, boo.
I'm sorry, whatever restaurant it was at. It looks like it was either an Asian or Mexican place. And I just want to speak, no taxation was right. I said the same thing in another space. If you look at the optics of it all, they were in a restaurant, not black owned, either Chinese or Mexican. So they really didn't give a damn about what was happening at the time.
They were Asian.
They were Asians. All you notice, he was trying to hand the woman her food. They were still going back and forth. And so I just wanted to correct that with Muffet. I don't know if you saw or heard when the young brother shot him. It was at the time when he was still beating his mother. So that's all I want to say. Thank you for allowing me to speak, Newstoter, and peace to the room.
All right. Thank you, Black Native. AAPIAH. I don't want to mispronounce it. I forgot how to say it, but go ahead.
Yes, sir. I want to touch on the 2 point. First of all, what happened, in Chicago is most unfortunate. The very first time I saw it, I just skipped it because, it was too much for me. And subsequently, it was on and on and on. So I took time to watch it. And it must be condemned as a man. You don't touch a woman. The moment a man touches a woman, you lose your masculinity. You lose that sense of calling yourself a man. We exist to protect. We don't exist to abuse. So for me, it's unfortunate. May his soul rest in peace. And I believe that, I hope we learn from this, that as a man, you don't need to touch a woman under no circumstances. It makes no sense. Now, moving on to the second issue. I am from Elmina, Ghana, where these young ladies went there and did what they did. One thing I've learned is that the history lessons that we learned back home in Ghana in terms of slavery, it's extremely different from what is taught out here. Irrespective of that, the young ladies acted out of ignorance. It must be condemned because at Elmina, that's the last place you would want to go and do what they did. When I was in high school doing history, that we had to visit certain places. There are certain places you have to even remove your shoes, pour libation before you can walk into certain rooms. And when you listen to the history of the old folks, how our people were treated, how our men, our fathers were captured and left the pregnant women dead. Listen, they used pistol. And I'm not talking about the bullet, the gun pistol. Okay, a pistol, P-E-S-T-L-E. It's a type of a wood to beat the pregnant women till they passed out and died. They murdered a lot of people just to steal the men and capture them. There were those in the farm doing their own business. They were all captured because they wanted the strong men. So after all this blood that has been shed, and you want to go and pay respect, you don't do this. You don't do this. When you listen to the true history of what happened in slavery, you would have nothing but shed tears and ask yourself, why would a normal human being do this to another human being? So for me, I pray that they learn from their mistakes. I pray that they get pardoned by the Spirit and they go and sin no more. But this is not one of those things that you think that, you go and stand somewhere and twerk, and you come out here and say, they're going to keep twerking. There's nothing wrong if they can do it elsewhere, but not on sacred grounds. It is not promising. And I yield here. Thank you.
All right. We're going to get ready to go ahead and kick it to the actual co-host. We're going to go ahead and get ready to close this thing out for the night as well, too, guys. We'll be back tomorrow night. So thank you to everybody that came up to speak tonight. DJ Professor, real quick and really, really quick. Let's go ahead and get a final word in it, and we're going to close it out for the night.
Hey, I was just going to say, I know Fred just came back up here. He was trying to come up here before, so you can just take my go. But come on over to the late night space, y'all. It's Monday. God damn it.
All right. Professor, go ahead.
All right, family. Well, tonight was another great night for this space. I enjoy listening to everybody's opinions and let me just say this: the lesson of the day is whistle while you twerk.
There you go. That still wasn't the first song that was called Twerking, though.
All right.
I can answer the question over in the late night space. Let's see who get it right, man. The prize is still up for grabs. The prize is still up for grabs. Let's go, yo.
Hey, real quick. Let me give a shout out to my girl Valerie. Valerie, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Like I said, we're gonna get ready, and DJ has a space tonight as well, guys. So definitely make sure y'all come and check that out as well too. It'll kind of be a continuation plus some other stuff as well in there. And like I say, also we do have the membership now on Twitter, the subscription. So if anybody wants to subscribe to Newstoter as a monthly membership, is only $3 a month. If you want to contribute to the largest Black-owned Black American news media curation platform, just go to the profile page and click the subscription. It's $3 a month, people. So for those that can afford it, it's greatly appreciated. If not, I understand as well too. But we're gonna go ahead and close this space out for the night. We'll see you tomorrow night. Everybody, be good and go check out DJ Space tonight as well too. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Good night.